Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you are doing well. We are thinking about peace, and we're thinking about forgiveness, and we're thinking about fairness. So our big idea is fairness this unit, and today we are going to be focusing, as I say, on peace. So I'd like you to draw a symbol or a picture that you think represents peace. You can do it on the back of a post-it note, back of an envelope, however you're going to do it. But be prepared to be aware to explain why you've done what you've done. So go and grab yourself a piece of paper, go and grab yourself a pen, go and grab yourself a book, get drawing that drawing for the word, what you understand by the term peace, little symbol for it, because here's our cheesy intro sequence. Okay, so I wonder what you've drawn there. If you're not sure at all, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. Some people draw a dove, some people draw a campaign for nuclear disarmament, the CND logo. So it's only obviously up to you to maybe even do a quick Google on what you understand by the word peace as well. So our title today is What Difference Does Peace Make? What difference does peace make? And I'm going to be asking you, as always, to send your work through to your teachers at the end of the session. So today we're going to explore how peace is agreed and how it is kept as well, or how it can be nurtured. During this session, it's going to be good if you can describe how peace can change a community. It's going to be great if you can explain why Christians may choose to bring peace, and even better if you could talk about one Christian organisation that helps to bring peace both nationally and worldwide as well, locally and worldwide as well. So we've got a literacy which is spelling unfamiliar terms today, and I'd like you to be creative, and we're going to think about why religious people do what they do, and think about what's right and wrong as well. During today's session then, we've done a little Pictionary thing. We're going to do a line of peace. We're going to a little bit of discussion, or at least think about that. We're going to think about Northern Ireland and then an organisation called Corrymeela. Okay, so what I'd like you now to do is to draw a straight line across your page. Simple as that. And on one end, label it of no value, and at the other end, label it of a loss of value. So as I've got there behind me. And what you're going to do, and because I bet you like to think you're probably quite a peaceful person, but these are different ways that people try and bring peace in the world. I'd like you to write the number from 1 to 9 on that line of where you think it falls. So if you think that attending a peace rally adds a lot of value, then you put it at this end. There was number 1. If you think that there's no value at all of turning up doing a rally, it goes at the other end down there. It's as simple as that. So give it a go, read them through. A peace song, everyone always asks, what's a peace song? A peace song is a song that tries to get people about peace. So John Lennon wrote Imagine, for example. Very clever song at getting people to think about peace. So give that a go and just write down 1 to 9 and be prepared to think about why you've put them where you have. So pause me now while you do that and then come back to me. So I wonder if you can answer these questions at all. There's 4 questions there before me. Maybe write them out, maybe just write a few sentences, maybe even share some information with a friend on Facebook or WhatsApp Messenger or Signal, whatever it is that you guys are using. So how do you think peace can be made and kept? How can good relationships be developed between people? How can communities work together? And how can different religions support peace by talking to each other. Have a discussion, maybe make a few notes, and come back to me when you've done that. So what we've done today is we've described how peace can change a community. And we're going to start now thinking about why Christians may choose to bring peace and some Christian organisations around that. So what I want to do is I want to just spend a few moments thinking about the Northern Ireland conflict, because it's a huge thing which affects people today in the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland as well. And we're going to come back to this in year 9. I'm going to do some work on terrorism, where it very much comes out of some of this, should I say. So what I'd like you to do, I've got a clip to show you. I'd like you to watch this, and then I'd like you to answer these 2 questions in your book. What difference does hope make to the current younger generations, and how do you think that life would be different now for people in Northern Ireland? So maybe write those questions out if you wish, but they're going to be there afterwards. So I'm going to play a clip, I'd like you to watch it, and then you can answer those 2 questions. So let's go to the clip now.
The question of religious violence hasn't gone away. This is Belfast, Northern Ireland, the scene of some truly ugly clashes between Catholics and Protestants, often cited as evidence that Christianity inevitably causes division and bloodshed. But it's complicated. The period known as the Troubles began in 1968 and lasted for 30 years. On one side of the equation were the Unionists, also known as Loyalists, the Protestants. They were mostly of British descent and wanted Northern Ireland to remain part of Britain. On the other side were the Nationalists, or Republicans, the Catholics. Their stated goal was to join the Republic of Ireland, which had won its independence in 1921. Jim lived through it, and now takes tourists around significant sites. So you would have been a young man.
I was a young man. Yes, 1961 I was born, so I was 8 years of age, just coming into the start of the conflict, and that was it. You grew up very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always says in 1997, 98 was the first time in my life I ever seen peace.
And so that really dominated
life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I used to get up out of bed in the mornings, my first thought was, how do we avoid being murdered by the murder gangs, okay? Yeah. Also, how do we avoid the British Army from the harassments and stuff like that, and also how do we attack the British Army? But the change being today, when my kids get out of bed in the morning and say, okay, we'll have to go to work to get our mortgage paid. You see the change? Yeah. It is.
It's fair to say that religious identity has been caught up in the struggle. So how do people who claim a Christian faith reconcile what happened here with what they believe?
I'm often asked, how is it possible to be a person who was born and lived in Northern Ireland and still remain committed to the Christian faith? Because I grew up in a situation where my parents lived in a town that was divided, and my parents, who were Christian but were not sectarian, believed that every man and woman is made in the image of God no matter what they believe. So he put that into practice by employing equally across the Protestant Catholic divide, and we were bombed because of that. So I have some experience of this kind of thing, and my reaction to it is quite simple and very direct. I'm utterly ashamed of it. I'm ashamed that the name of Christ has ever been associated with a bomb or an AK-47, for the simple reason that people who do that are not following Christ. They are disobeying him.
I always said religion was used too readily to cover this conflict, because if we think about it here, you're not saying one thing about anything religious here. You see that? There is no crosses on that wall, there's no other stuff like that. This is about a war of independence. In 1979, the Pope got down on his knees here and he says, please, please stop the violence. Yeah. It continued on, okay? Also remember the Queen of England on many, many occasions she appealed to the Protestant paramilitaries, the loyalist paramilitaries, to stop murdering people. Again, they didn't listen. So religion was never taken on board by these paramilitary leaders, do you understand? They never ever stopped to think murder's a mortal sin, as we say in the church. No, they didn't.
The Troubles came to an end on Good Friday 1998, when the key parties reached a peace agreement after 30 years of conflict. However, security walls, euphemistically called peace lines, still separate key Catholic and Protestant neighbourhoods. Often conflicts that we think of as religious turn out to be, when we look more closely, about much more than just people's spiritual beliefs. But there's no question that religion, when used as an identity marker, can be a potent force in ramping up an us versus them mentality.
There are plenty of circumstances where, for Christians, as indeed for Muslims, religion is a really, really good alibi, a really good banner to march under. If there's a conflict that's basically about something else, it's terrifically helpful to make it a religious conflict because it reinforces your own righteousness. But actually it's not true. It's simply not true that the majority of human conflict, then or now, is religiously based. It can be religiously cloaked, it can be religiously justified, but it's a big claim to say that it's religiously motivated. And I don't think it's a claim that can be sustained.
Okay, so with that clip watched, now I'd like you to have a go at answering those two questions. So let's get that done. Brilliant. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at an organisation called Corrymeela. Corrymeela, again, based in Northern Ireland. Oh, probably just given you a bit of a clue there. So I'd like you to copy this mind map out into your book. You're going to need to be able to write around each of these things as well. So let's just get that copied out now. Pause me while you do that. Beautiful. Now I've got another clip to show you, so I'd like you to watch this. It's going to play straight on, and I'd like you to get as many of those things answered as you can. All the information you need is actually in this clip, so you may need to watch it a couple of times. So let's just watch this now.
Corrymeela is Northern Ireland's oldest peace and reconciliation centre. We were founded in 1965, before the Troubles began, by Ray Davey and students from Queen's University. Corrymeela grew organically from the original members, now with 150 members, dozens of volunteers and 40 full-time staff who are committed to this witness of peace. We have over 6,000 people through our programmes a year at our centre in Ballycastle and out in the community. We live in a world of beauty and burden, of vision and violence. Corrymeela brings people together to encounter each other in a way that makes a world of difference, a world you want to live in. Our vision is a world where people live and learn well together. Corrymeela is a place for meeting and welcome, where we can hear stories in a safe place, explore the power at the heart of those stories, take risks of trust, and together find ways to live and learn. We work alongside people from youth and education groups, family and community organisations, faith communities and political parties. Using dialogue, analysis, conflict theory, experiential play, art, storytelling, learning and listening, we help groups embrace difference and have important conversations. We believe in welcome and hospitality. Corrymeela is an open village for all people of goodwill. We practice hospitality because temporary communities with food, firesides, hospitality and new connections are the places where serious conversation and transformation can happen. Corrymeela's founder was Ray Davey. During the Second World War, Ray, a pacifist volunteer for respite camps, was captured and incarcerated in a prisoner of war camp in Dresden. In the annihilations of war, Ray saw humanity's capacity for inhumanity. He was profoundly changed. Ray returned to work as a chaplain in Belfast. There, he became concerned at the tensions brewing between people of different political, religious and ideological differences in Northern Ireland. He gathered people around him in the chaplaincy. Corrymeela grew out of these gatherings. This part of Ireland is known for many things, one of which is our fractured political and religious landscape. We have much further to go, but in so many ways things have improved. There have been lessons learnt. Corrymeela has been a place where people from other places also come to share, teach and learn. India, Korea, Pakistan, Colombia, South Africa, Israel, Palestine and Sri Lanka. People from places of conflict come here to explore how to learn from the edges, hear important stories, work for change, engage at a radical centre in a radical centre. We believe that there is a powerful truth to be discovered in the stories of those who have been marginalised or ignored. We try to listen well. We try to learn well. We want to live well together. Corrymeela is a place of generosity. Our work is made possible by around 80,000 volunteer hours every year. Many of our volunteers have been working on the site for decades, generously giving time and service to the work. The faith community of Corrymeela has grown too, with 150 members, 70 associate members and thousands of friends around the globe. We gather around the symbols of the turf cross, an open Bible and the lit candle. Together we make commitments to be engaged with the world at its points of fracture, faith, pain and potential. Corrymeela is people. We are young people, middle-aged and old people. We are people of doctrine and people of doubt. We engage with the differences of our world. We disagree with each other, and we seek to disagree agreeably. We know we're part of the problems of the world. We work hard to be part of the solution. We are people of prayers and protest, curiosity and questioning, work and learning. We believe in a world of difference. We believe we can learn and live well together. We are Corrymeela, and you are always welcome.
Okay, so let's just think about these very briefly. So why do they help each other? Because they believe that the Bible commands them to. And obviously it's trying to bring peace into a broken society. Who are they? They're a community in Northern Ireland started by Ray Davey. What difference do they make? Well, they try and bring peace, as we talked about. Where in the world do they work? They're working all over the place, and hopefully you've got a number of things there. What do? They try and host discussions with each other as well, where they try and bring communities that are broken together. So we said it'd be good if we could describe how peace can change a community, and we've talked about that with Northern Ireland quite a lot there. Great if you can explain why Christians may choose to bring peace, and again you've talked about that with Corrymeela, and you've looked specifically at one Christian organisation that tries to bring peace both locally within Ireland and worldwide as well. So the last thing I'd like you to do is to make a cube of learning, and you're going to be able to design this yourself, print this off, chop it out, make it into a cube, bit of origami here, and you'll find two versions of that in the description below. You'll find one which is got little hints in it and one which is blank. The idea is that what you're going to do is you're going to add 6 bits of information about peace and Corrymeela and things like that, and how that brings fairness to the world. You can choose how you're going to spread this out. You can put little pictures with it, you can make it look really colourful, and as always I'll ask you to photograph things, send it through to your teachers, because we'd love to see it. We do hope that you're doing well. I'm going to leave it there, so stay safe, wash your hands, God bless you. I'll be seeing you soon.